thank you everyone for joining us today for Selling with Ease and Authenticity, hosted by Laura Jean Bernhardson. And we are so excited to have you here for this 1 hour conversation. And in this call, Laura Jean will share with us, she'll have a whole bunch of tips to change your mindset and to build an aligned business that helps you sell with ease. And you'll leave with a fresh approach to selling that will make every sales conversation easier and easier each time you practice. Laura Jean has spent over 2 decades coaching and mentoring women entrepreneurs while building her own successful businesses for 30 years. Her entrepreneurial journey began in 1994 with the launch of her knitwear line, leading to having her immerse herself in the world of entrepreneurship and self-study. Recognizing her passion for both the creative and business aspects, she expanded her business, Fresh Collective, into multiple locations and developed programs to support emerging Canadian designers. And under her leadership, Fresh Collective became a renowned 7-figure fashion business known for its local ethos and community building efforts. And I have to say, I know this firsthand because I worked for Laura Jean at Fresh Collective. What a full circle, right? So in addition to her fashion ventures, Laura Jean ventured into the childcare industry, partnering with a daycare operator to expand her business acumen to a new field. And this experience further solidified her belief in the transferability of her own skills and her commitment to continuous growth and learning. So as a seasoned business coach, Laura Jean has worked with a diverse range of entrepreneurs, from financial planners to web designers, helping them create aligned businesses with measurable systems for success. With a wealth of experience and a deep-rooted passion for supporting women in business, Laura Jean continues to empower entrepreneurs to achieve their goals and build thriving businesses. Without further ado, let's welcome Laura Jean. Yay!
There, I got to unmute. Oh, this new platform thing is kind of stressful. So hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I have a PowerPoint, so I'm going to figure out screen sharing, and let's just see how that goes. I guess I'm doing this entire screen. Okay. And then I got to go here. So what do you see?
Now we see your full PowerPoint presentation.
Beautiful. Okay, great. So this is me today, the 2024 version of me. I'm a business coach, a lifelong entrepreneur, a speaker, an artist, and founder of the Ladies Creative Collaboration Society. This is me in 1994. So a bit of background. This was the first photo shoot of my knitwear line that I started, which was sort of my first real business that eventually grew into Fresh Collective, as Jenna mentioned. So I started out as a designer and maker and got into retail, and that was sort of how my business grew. So I was a new entrepreneur and fashion designer ready to take on the world in the early 90s. And of course, this is just my friend's kitchen, and she shot these pictures on an old film camera. But that was good enough to launch my new business in those days. I've never had a corporate job. I'm not that kind of person. I didn't know how to get one. And I really thought the 9-to-5 idea, or, the idea of working for a corporation just really felt like a trap or, a constraint to me. So I somehow, I'm 100% entrepreneur through and through. And I've somehow managed to, sustain that throughout my over 30 plus years. So it's pretty cool. But I did not start out as a natural salesperson. So selling in no way was a natural strength of mine. I was very shy and very nervous about my business. So it was really hard for me to talk to anyone about my, if they were looking at my sweaters or whatever. I worked part-time in a store where I was selling them as well when I started out. And when people were going near them to look at them or whatever, I would just find an excuse to go hide in the back and pray that my boss made the sale for me. I had a lot of negative associations with selling, and I suspect you might too, since you're here. So you're not alone if you feel nervous and awkward about selling. Tons of people have that creepy, pushy used car salesman association, and I so get it. So there he is, that guy that we all don't want to be. So what are some thoughts you have about him or about selling in general? I'm really curious. You can just come off mute and talk, or you can pop them in the chat. Except that I won't see the chat, I realize, because my full screen is taken over with this. So Jenna, maybe
Yeah, I'll read the chat for you if anyone says anything.
Okay, thank you.
I don't mind talking. For me, selling, I always find it hard to actually ask for the sale. Like, yeah, just we talk about everything else, but
I totally get that. I totally get that. Anyone else?
I find that I tend to, because I have my roots are as a people pleaser. I want to just like give everybody everything, but like not necessarily sell it. So, so you get that like, well, what does this cost? And then that's where everything starts to be like, nothing. It's okay.
Just take it. Just have it for free.
Just take it. It's fine.
So is that, the first person who spoke, is that kind of a similar feeling that you feel like it's kind of mean or just like too greedy to ask for the sale?
Part of it is, yeah. I'm always worried that they're going to say, "Oh, that's way too much," or then I have that imposter syndrome thing happening. Like, should I even be doing this? Like. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I hope I have things in the presentation that I think will address that. So I hope by the end you feel much better. And if you don't, we'll talk specifically about your situation, okay? Because there's Q&A time at the end. So that is so great. Thank you both for sharing. It's amazing. I think it's such a common thing. I know definitely with my clients that I work with, selling can be the hugest stumbling block. So it's very, very, very common. Okay, great. So in this presentation, I'll shed some light on just what it takes to sell naturally and from a place of true service. And you will find that people will love to buy from you, and you'll feel so comfortable and confident that you won't even believe it's you closing all those sales. So that boss that I mentioned, the store owner where I first sold my sweaters and worked in her store, she really pushed me to learn to talk to people about my sweaters and to learn to sell. And around that time, I came across this book in a thrift shop for 25 cents, and I figured it was worth a try. It actually surprisingly opened my eyes to a lot of new ideas about selling and really started me on the practice of becoming much more comfortable in a sales conversation. So many years and many thousands of sales conversations later, I can now pass on some of the best things that I have learned. Oh yeah, it definitely doesn't happen overnight. It's totally a practice, but if you commit to it, you'll get better and better with each interaction. So I really encourage you to take in, what's happening in this presentation, take notes, and as of tomorrow, you will be a better salesperson than you were today. So the first thing to realize is that selling does not exist in a vacuum. In fact, no part of your business does. So when you understand how to think like a CEO and build an aligned business, you'll find clients and customers falling into your lap, ready to do business with you. So if you look at this chain as a metaphor for a business model, every area of your business is connected like links in this chain. So here we have your community or audience. That's your, the people you serve, the people you want to serve, your social media audience, the people on your newsletter, etc. We have the financial center of your business. So that's like, do you have enough cash flow? Like, what are your systems for financing your projects and so on? Management and operations is the area of, the processes in your business. That would also cover like employees and employee management and that kind of stuff. Lead generation or marketing. So that's, how you're getting the leads that you want to sell to. That could include, email newsletters, networking, doing webinars like this, social media, etc. And then we have lead conversion. So that's how effectively are you converting those leads into clients. And finally, client fulfillment. So that is how well are you delivering on your promises? If you're doing a product-based business, is your product arriving on time? Is it packaged correctly so that it looks great and people are excited? If you're delivering a service, did you deliver it on time? Are you delivering what you promised, etc.? So that's client fulfillment. So when you, I found that when I understood my business as broken down into this kind of business model, it made it a lot easier for me to sort of isolate problems and think about which center they fall into. So we're going to talk about these areas in a second, but first we're going to start with you, which of course you are right in the middle of your business. So the first thing to work on in the area of you is your energy around selling. So that little 90s knitwear business turned into a 3-boutique mini fashion empire here in Toronto, as Jenna mentioned, which is where I met her, a 7-figure business that was more like a cultural movement than just a business. And when I trained my many staff over the years, I wanted them to understand that selling is good. The happiest clients we ever had were the ones who walked out the door with 3 bags in each hand, full of clothes they felt amazing in. So the customers were smiling ear to ear, like truly, like that was the best outcome. If someone I like the retail store metaphor, not only because I ran retail stores for 2 decades, but because it's something we're all familiar with. So if you go into a store and go, this is a cute shoe store, I wonder if they have shoes for me here. And you go in, are you happy and excited when you walk out having found nothing you like? No, you're kind of blah. But if you went in and found 3 new pairs of shoes that you loved, you would be so excited. And if someone sold those to you with amazing energy and, loveliness and service and whatever, you'd be like, that was a great experience. So this idea that we have that selling is bad or, icky or whatever, we really need to shift that. So you want to think about what kind of energy are you bringing to the sales conversation? Are you bringing prejudgment? For example, if you're thinking like, oh, she's never going to buy, it could be negative about the person, or it could be negative about yourself. It could be like, oh, she's too good for me, or oh, she wants something better than what I have to offer, I'm sure. Or it could be like, she can't afford it. Like, just don't bring this stuff. It does you no good. Are you bringing desperation? Are you in your head thinking, oh, I need the sale. I really hope she buys. Are you bringing wimpiness? Like, I wanted to charge. I had a friend who, with her service, she was telling me one time, she goes, yeah, I don't know why I find myself going, yeah, my normal price is $75 an hour, but for you, I'll charge $40. And I'm like, why? Like, they're not even a friend. It was just to a random stranger, but she just wimped out so much on her pricing that's what she did. So here is the lady walking out of my store with 3 bags of clothes in each hand. This is a happy buyer. And this is what we really want. So when this lady is walking out the store with her 3 bags full of clothes, she is grateful for our patience, our guidance, and our style advice. She's truly happy. She's grateful for us listening to her needs and her issues. We were always so connected to our customers and friendly with them that they would often hug us at the end of a shopping spree. And Jenna knows this to be true because she was part of the whole culture there. We had so much fun with them and always shopping with them like they were our best friends. We never had the energy of, I need this sale, or pushing products on them they don't want, but always the energy of, even if it takes you all day, and you try on everything in the store, I want you to feel like $1 million. In fact, I would joke when customers, if it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, she'd be like, oh, I'm taking up so much of your time. I'm like, I'm here till 7. Don't worry about it. So there was just always a really friendly, happy energy around how we sold. And when I saw them coming out of the change room, spinning and twirling in a dress that, and exclaiming with a huge smile, like, oh my gosh, I never thought I could get away with wearing something like this. Me wearing hot pink, I can't believe it. That's when I knew that we were doing a really great job of selling through listening, connection, and service. And I'm stuck on this slide for some reason. No, lady, we're done with seeing you. I can't make this slide move forward. Okay, here we go. So some keys to selling with ease and authenticity are the listening, the connection, and the service. Do I have one more on this? No, I don't. Okay. So every once in a while, I recap the little points. So we'll be coming back to that screen with more and more points to add. So you don't have to just take my word for it. Here are a couple of the 5-star reviews we got. So the staff at the store are like wizards in their ability to find the perfect outfit you never would imagine for yourself, friendly and knowledgeable, blah, blah, blah. This lady would come twice a year from out of province and never leave empty-handed. And this lady even specifically mentions the owner was awesome too, having her share in my excitement of the treasures felt like I was shopping with a girlfriend. And that was completely genuine. It wasn't like a manipulation, like I'm going to pretend I'm her girlfriend. I loved shopping with my customers. And, many of them would comment that it felt like they were shopping with a girlfriend. And that was just like a really nice part of our company culture. So another area in which to develop more self-awareness is your expertise. So we often don't realize what an expert or how much of an expert we are because it becomes so natural to us. It's a passion for us. We may have been doing it for years or decades. And as an expert, you can, after listening carefully and asking the right questions, you can confidently guide them towards a solution. So it may not even be the solution they expected or asked for, but since you have the expertise, you can guide, educate, and suggest, never being pushy, of course. So your expertise in terms of developing the self-awareness, your expertise comes from your personal experience, your years in the field, your related training and education, and your passion and commitment. So with this new, and your hard and soft skills. So with this new expertise piece, we can revisit this list and add, ask the right questions, guide and educate, and suggest. So we called our staff style coaches, and we hired people who really wanted to help women feel great about themselves. So we looked for folks with fashion sense. So fashion sense and style, so that they could recommend a belt or cuffing the pants or outfits that, outfits like putting together items and stuff like that, so that it was like versatile and it really suited the customer and all that. And then we trained them ongoingly to be even better and more confident in offering style advice and even being able to change directions with the customer. We might say things like, I know you're looking for a blue dress. That shows we listened and understand. However, I do have this green one that I think would look amazing with your eyes. And the style would be perfect for your figure as it highlights the waist and drifts over the tummy and hips. So again, we're more listening because we listened to her describing her body insecurities. And we also showed our expertise of saying, like, I know this color would look great on you. So good selling makes things easy for your customer. You want to give people something to say yes to by taking the work out of the situation. In our stores, we'd run around and grab more things for them to try or to say no thanks to when they were in the change room. And here we have Judith's review that just highlights that, where she was like, I really dislike shopping, all the work it takes, everything. So our store manager ran around and got all the things and, showed off her expertise and all that stuff. Earlier with a client that I was working with, we hit on an easy way for her to close her sales calls when people are a yes to her service. She was finding a lag in her process when she closed the sale and then followed up with an email asking for the first payment and setting up the first appointment. Sometimes there was like the person would semi-ghost where there was like a delay and they'd be like, oh yeah, sorry, I'll get around to that next week or whatever. We decided that she could, in that moment that they are a yes and excited about it, we could just say, great, let's set up your first 3 appointments now. And it's one less thing for them to worry about later. So that's an example in a service business of how you can take work off of the client. Instead of having them have to have an email that they respond to and whatever, when you have them on the phone sealing the deal, say, great, let's set up your first 3 appointments right now. I mean, you could even say, and what's your credit card number, and get that payment done too. There's so many ways, but the more you make it easy for your client, the better off you are at closing the sale. Oh yes. So often in sales, when we recognize our expertise, we can introduce them to new ideas they never even imagined. When people come to us, it makes their lives easier to be led to a solution rather than have to figure it out themselves. So I remember a time when a woman came in looking for black pants. And I asked if they were for casual wear or work. And she replied kind of nervously, well, I've started dating after divorce and I thought I should get some new clothes. And I looked at her and said, can I get you into a dress? I asked permission, but I also used my expertise to guide. She shared that she doesn't think dresses look good on her because of her shape and she hasn't worn them in years. Well, I assured her, we have some dresses that will be gorgeous on you. They'll suit your figure and they'll be perfect for dates. Are you willing to give it a try? And she was like a bit hesitant, but she was like, okay. So I picked out a few and explained that they would be perfect for her, put her in the change room, and I could just see her opening up and getting more confident and joyful with each dress she tried on. Guess what she went home with? No black pants for her. She went home with 4 dresses that day. And she was so happy. And I felt, as a style expert, that I was setting her up for finding the love of her life. So if I had just listened to her and said black pants, oh, you want black pants for a date? Here you go. And she, lovely look, like nothing wrong with this look, but it's not a very fun, flirtatious, romantic date look. So I was happy I was able to guide her into something that blew her mind. And she was like, I can't believe I look this great in a dress. Now, I do wish that there was a simple pill that I could give you to make selling easier, but we've got a long way to go here. So one last tip in the area of you, just come from nothing. So don't evaluate, don't prejudge, don't think about whether the customer will buy from you or not when you first see her. Don't prepare for a sales call with this customer. Don't come with a plan. Just come from nothing and listen. Ask questions so you're sure you understand, and repeat back everything at the end. And then only if you have a solution for them, offer it. If they really are not the right client for you, let them know and maybe refer them to to a colleague who might be better suited to help them. But it doesn't help anyone to try and take on the wrong clients because you just want the business. So stay true to your vision, work on an aligned business, and the next one who comes along will be a better fit. Now, let's move into the areas of your business outside of you that, when aligned, create the perfect, attractive path for your ideal clients. We've got a little recap here. So we've got all of those ones, plus we've got make it easy for them to say yes, go beyond what they asked for when needed, be okay with not making a sale or stay true to your vision, and I don't know what that next one is, but let's see what I've got on my sheet here. Your brand. Oh, I know what it is. Your brand communicates what your business is about, your core values, your commitment to your customers. So now we're moving away from you and into the areas of your business. So in thinking about your branding is communicating everything about what your business is about, your core values, your commitment to your customers, and what you do, all the way through the customer journey. So it's not just, I'm sure we all know, it's not just your logo, your font, and your brand colors. But it's everything. It's the clothes you wear at a networking meeting. It's how you carry yourself. It's the words and images you use in marketing. It's everywhere in your business. And if it's not in alignment, it can create a hodgepodge mess, leaving your prospective client bewildered. So if you met me like that and you were like, oh, she's very bright and sunshiny, but then you went to my website and it looked like that, you'd be like, this is a major disconnect. Like, what's going on here? So you might meet someone who you think sounds amazing and trustworthy at a networking meeting. If they go to your website and get a different impression, you've lost them. They should not have to do work to figure out what you do and how to work with you. You want to make it easy for them, and you do that by having an aligned brand. Also, just be your authentic self in business. I used to try and tone myself down as a business coach, thinking I had to be less colorful and vibrant to be taken seriously. And I realized the exact opposite. Being me lets me stand out and just feels a lot better. Your marketing is another chance to share your experience. Your authenticity, your expertise, and your trustworthiness. So in my marketing, even in this presentation, I tell stories that let you know I understand. I was once like you. I was nervous to sell when I started. I have a long history in business. So as a business coach, I certainly have experienced a lot and learned along the way how to get better at selling and better at building a business that makes it easy and natural to sell. So you see how I explain things, what my goals and commitments are to my clients, what my personality is like, and you can see if we'll vibe. So some folks who see this presentation may also be presented with a solution they didn't expect. If somebody wanted to, like, a quick fix to learn how to sell, they're seeing that it's more than that. It's about tweaking your business, making it aligned, and really getting all the pieces of the puzzle in place. So that's how I work. I work holistically with business owners, and selling isn't just about selling. Ideally, you want your prospect or potential customer to be starting to convert by your marketing. When I present or I write a blog post, I'm sure that a certain percentage of the audience is thinking, I want to work with her. They aren't going to shop around for me. They aren't going to shop around for a business coach. They want me and only me. So I hope you're one of them. I want my marketing and my networking to line up my ideal clients and repel my non-ideal ones. If someone had come to this presentation hoping for a magic pill to sell more and to convince people to buy or to manipulate them into saying yes, let's say, and they would just tune out after the first 5 minutes when they realized it was going to be a lot more work than that, and that's fine. They would not be my ideal client. I'm about helping you think like a CEO and build the business of your dreams to really help people and transform their lives. And I want our working relationship to transform your life, to make your business fun and joyful and authentically you, and to have you making great money, probably more than you're setting your sights on. So there's a lot more I could go into around selling, but in the sake of ever finishing this presentation and getting onto the Q&A, let's wrap up with this. When you really understand your audience or the community you want to serve, when you really listen and come up with the solutions they want, as well as some they didn't even think of, you can offer a solution that they pretty much can't say no to. So it worked great with my stores when we stocked dresses. When we stocked dresses with pockets. That was a huge thing for our customers. They loved dresses with pockets. They loved the clothes that fit great and felt comfortable, lasted for years, and were machine washable and were bike rideable. I don't know if that's a word, but a lot of our clients rode their bikes and we knew them inside and out. We knew that they wanted dresses that they could ride their bike out in. So pencil skirts would never sell with them, but long, like sort of wide skirts that you can ride a bike in worked great. I now often find myself on business coaching discovery calls saying, I made this program exactly for women like you, because I did. The client is left feeling like it's exactly what they were hoping for, which it is, because I've spent thousands of hours over decades networking with and working with and having conversations with women entrepreneurs just like them. And I am one who started out unsure of herself, scared of selling, resistant to structures and systems, scared of most things, to tell the truth, but with such a passion for having a cool creative business that it allowed, a cool creative business that allowed me a great lifestyle. That was what I wanted. And that passion pushed me to pursue learning how to do the business side of things, how to learn to sell, how to get over myself and get out of my own way. So for someone who was so afraid of selling, we're going to do a recap. So we want aligned branding, we want be yourself, and we want relatable stories and anecdotes. So that's a pretty good list of action items right there, I'd say. For someone who started out so afraid of selling, you can imagine now how excited I was to get this text from my client who had been working with me on her brand new business. So she had told me that she was really afraid of selling. We're getting her business aligned from the very start, and it feels so great. She had never been an entrepreneur before. She really didn't know what she was in for, and she was worried about that. But selling was her biggest fear. She came from a corporate position in finance, and this business is a dream for her. She wants a lifestyle where she can help change her client's life while spending time with her kids. She has 2 young kids. And she wants the freedom that the 9-to-5 or really 9-to-9 life in her industry could have never offered in a job situation. So I feel like a very proud mama getting this text. It's an absolute joy for me to help women entrepreneurs' dreams come true. All of this is a process, and it really does take time to get those sales rolling in. Oh yes, I forgot I added this. Sorry, but this is pretty cool. So this client, her biggest fear was being unable to sell. She's now about 5 months into working with me. I added this edit about a month ago. Her service is around $5,000. She's done 15 discovery calls. So this is someone who was so afraid of selling. Out of those 15, she has 10 new clients. So that is amazing. And for those of us who like stats, that is a 67% conversion rate. So does anyone have questions? I'm curious, the 2 people who said that they were afraid to ask for the sale.
Apparently we're afraid to talk too. Yeah, my problem is I make like homemade products, and I do paints, and um, I make for my family cremation, like ashes from pets and from loved ones. Make them into jewelry, but every time I make something, I always say, "Why am I bothering? It's not going to sell anyways." So I put that right from the start. And so after I've said that, then I don't like to talk about my business. I could be with a bunch of people and I won't even talk about what I do. Well, and I think a lot of it is because my memory is getting really bad. So like anything that I make, any products I make, if anybody asks me what's in it or what the scents are, half the time I can't remember. So my confidence has just gone right down. So yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if anything would help me at this point.
Well, I totally get that. You're dealing with defeat out of the gate. So that's definitely a change the mindset kind of thing. And but I love that you identified that you fumble over what it's made out of or that kind of thing, because now that you've identified it, you can do something about it. So you could do, like, if it's a list of ingredients and people are like, "Oh, I love this candle. It smells so nice. What's in it?" You could be like, "Oh, on the bottom, there's a list of ingredients." And then, or you could just grab another one and flip it over and read the ingredients, or, whatever. So that's actually like a great tool. Everything that happens in business is it's like a data point or whatever, if I'm using it right. But if you think like a scientist, if you think like, okay, that's a bit of feedback. So the customers are asking what it's made out of. That's important to them. And so now I can prepare, and I'm forgetting it. So that's a problem. So now you can make, a pamphlet, or you can make something, a tag that is on the product or whatever, that'll fulfill on the customer's idea of wondering what's in it and help you actually remember it. So,
well, everything I make, I have to have labeled with the ingredients on them anyway. So they're always, like, everything I make has got the proper labeling and stuff on them.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, good. So I think maybe just kind of that whole kind of the confidence thing, which I totally get. I think every single one of us on this call can identify with, times that our confidence has just gone, our past failures stick with us and we're like, "Oh my God, it's going to turn out like that again," or whatever. And that's life. We've got to, when we were babies learning to walk, we fell 27 times. And luckily then we didn't have that kind of thing built in where we're like, "I'm never going to learn to walk. I give up." Because we all somehow figured it out, right? So, yeah, I think if you can address that and just still feel hopeful, then that's one step in the right direction, at least. Anyone else who got something that they were feeling like, "Oh, I can't ask for the sale," or the person who's just like, if they were saying they can talk about it, but then when it comes to asking, I don't know if that was you, Joanne, or someone else, when it comes to actually asking.
No, I think it was me, Laura Jean. It was, I'm really good at talking it through and everything, but then it's like being afraid of asking for the actual sale. Yeah. And then you talked about wimping out on price. Because I do that too, because then I always feel like, okay, well, yeah, I'll help you. Sure, if you can't afford it. But then, then when I have 5 minutes to think about it, I'm like, what the heck did I do that for? I know what I'm doing. I know my value, right? So yeah, I don't know.
I think that's really a practice thing. It's being in the awareness and realizing that you're doing it. And maybe also like talking with a friend and saying like, I feel so weird saying my package is $1,500. Like that just seems like a lot of money to me. And talk it out with your friends so that they can help you. Your trusted friend who brings you up, not some scowly person who's like, "Yeah, $1,500 is a lot," but an entrepreneur who knows the industry, right? And who knows that your prices are perfectly reasonable and who knows that you offer great value for that. So I would go even further and say, like, we're selling things to help people who are in pain, right? Or to help people who are having a problem of some kind. So Sarah, what do you do? I think you do bookkeeping and stuff, don't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
So I bet you're a great bookkeeper.
I think I am. I have like over 30 years experience. I've been doing bookkeeping, accounting stuff for so long. And then yet I get in front of a client and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not sure, but it's like, come on. Sometimes to myself, I'm like, stupid, you know what you're doing, right? Anyways.
Well, so that's the expertise piece, right? So I can see all my presentation. Now I realize how great it was, because you can work on self-awareness of how great you are. And how I suggest you do it is whether you sit down with a journal or whatever, but pull times out in those 30 years where you really saved someone's butt, where they even maybe said like, Sarah, I couldn't have done it without you. Or, my books were such a mess and you caught me up from 3 years of them being a mess. And that other jerk messed up my books so bad. And like what it means to someone who gets their books sorted out and has the money worries off their head. It's not just you are looking at it from the surface thing of where you're at because you're good at it, but you don't know what it's like. And I do, because I've been there. I've cried over bookkeepers. I've literally cried. I had such a bad run of bookkeepers for years. And I had so many times where like this one guy, and I will not go down a rant rabbit hole of my former bookkeepers, but I want you to understand what it feels like for someone like me. When you realize that the guy you trusted for 2 years to be doing your books has screwed them up royally, and now you have to hire someone to go back, and how much I would have loved to find you at that time, right? I bet you would have been super compassionate. You would have been able to deal with my crying. You would have said, don't worry, we're going to get it all sorted out. And then you would have done it perfectly. And you would have explained it, why it happened, why you did it that way. And you would have made our appointments on time, So that's where I really suggest that you work on that self-awareness piece of your expertise. I bet you're a kick-ass, amazing bookkeeper. And people are lucky to have you. It makes their business run so much smoother. For people who are anxious about money and they get it sorted out, and especially if they get someone who can be strategic and help them see, like, why are you spending this much on this? Like, I think you could get a cheaper option with that, or whatever. Everything you do to help small business owners is a blessing to them. So so there's a few bits of advice for you. We're not done. We're not done with you, Sarah.
Okay.
So there's the expertise piece, work on that. And then there's the realize how reasonable your prices are. So it starts to line up too, right? When you realize what a kick-ass bookkeeper you are, then you realize your prices are really great for the services you offer and how much people need them and how much they fit perfectly fine in the world of what people are paying for things, And then the third piece in terms of actually asking for it is realizing that on the other end of the phone is someone who needs your help, assuming it's a phone call. And so really being like, it could be you explain all your services and blah, blah, blah. And then you say, so I could get started with you next week. Would that work for you? And that could be your close. And if they go, yeah, that would be great, actually, or it gives them something. It gives them something to say yes or no to, right? So they could go, no, maybe the following week is better because I'm going away. Or they could say, whatever, right? So, but that could give you the opportunity to move into asking for the sale, a phrase like that. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Honestly, it does. Yeah. And sometimes you just need to hear it from the other side. Like your story about having a terrible bookkeeper, right? So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. You're most welcome. Anyone else? Or good. Ashley?
Hi. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
You touched on it before with the confidence. And I just wanted to ask, the whole fake it till you make it. A lot of people say the fake it till you make it. Have you found in your experience of coaching and your experience of selling that faking it till you make it is useful until you actually enjoy selling and enjoy being genuine and authentic with it? Or do you find that's not a good idea?
Well, what other option is there? What's the alternative? Act crappy and and horrified by selling, I think you have no
Just cry.
choice. Just cry.
Just start crying.
Just give up.
Please buy from me.
I think you have no choice but to fake it till you make it, but I would hope that it's not a total fake. I would hope that after a webinar like this, you would be like, I've got some great pointers. I'm going to get myself all, ready to go, and I'm going to do better this time. And so I would hope that you're not faking it until you make it, but you're understanding that you're, just like learning a new sport or something. Like I'm learning roller dance right now, and I'm not faking it till I make it. I'm doing the best I can and looking like a complete klutz, but it's getting better and better and better every time with practice. Does that help?
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Anybody else, or is everybody just closing all those sales with ease?
I'm closing sales on Crybabies International right now in the chat because several people have been on calls with me where I've talked about launching my brand of Crybabies International, where you get a sweatshirt with a sleeve that says "Tears Go Here," so that when you're having
that's what I need, Jenna. If I had had that with the bookkeeper situation, I could have been crying with so much more ease.
That's why we came up with Crybabies International one day. So this is what it all is all about. I do just want to stress you have like such an expert here in Laura Jean. Everything I learned about selling, I learned in her stores. And I was one of those employees that was like, I don't want to bug anybody. Like, I'm just going to let them do their thing and leave. And then having real conversations about like actually helping people. So please come off mute, ask Laura Jean your questions. We've got about 15 minutes left with her.
Okay. My problem was, I started my business in 2015. And when I was doing it then, I was doing craft shows and getting a lot of contacts that way, a lot of sales. I live in the Niagara region, and this seems to be a really bad area for craft shows. Everybody comes in and they're looking for a deal. It's like you get the weekend things where it's all like antiques and
Okay, sure, yeah.
Those like bargain hunters and stuff like that, bargain shoppers. And when you're paying for your table and you're paying for the time that you have to to get all your stuff, get it over there, you're spending the day there and everything. And so it was pretty, if I was able to sell enough to pay for my table, I did better than most people on these shows here. So it wasn't really the best kind of thing to build up my confidence. And my parents and my friends, my family never bought anything from me. They I give them stuff for Christmas and their birthdays and stuff. So I keep thinking, if I'm not good enough for my friends and family, then why am I even doing this? So then I had started a job, and I was working every weekend, so I couldn't do the craft shows and stuff. And then COVID, and then I was working from home. So now I'm at the point where I don't even go to the store. Like, I don't leave the house. So it's really, I'm finding it difficult to even make any contact with anyone when I'm in the house. Afraid to even go out and check the mail. Like, it's gotten to that point. I'm not making any sales at all. And like I said, I'm just like everything I make, people look at it and go, oh, it's so great, so beautiful. And I say, well, I'm giving stuff away for free, and I'm saying, can you try it? Let me know. It's a new, it's trying a new recipe or something. And, can you just give me some feedback? I probably got 99.9 no response from everybody I've since 2015. No response from anybody. I've given them cards to fill out, email addresses, follow-ups and stuff like that. And they say, oh, it's great. It works so well. And, and so they'll start talking about, oh, I went to this party and I go, why didn't you buy like some soap and stuff? And they're going, I never think about it. Everybody. I never think about it. So like, I'm just kind of in this vacuum where I'm just, you know, I'm having a hard time trying to get out of it to contact people. And I feel like I'm just getting pulled down into a vacuum. So,
are you saying when they say, I just want to make sure I'm understanding that clearly. So you say, why didn't you buy some, basically you're saying, why didn't you buy something for me and from me? And they're saying, oh, I didn't think of it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They'll say, you know, oh, I went out and I bought this. And I said, well, why didn't, you know, I could have given you a really good deal because I'm always throwing free stuff in and always giving, you know, good prices, like, you know, what my costs. And and they're going, I never thought about it.
Yeah.
That's every single person says, or they'll have stuff and they'll say, oh, you know, I got burnt and I had to go to the hospital. And I go, well, why didn't you put the burn stuff on? I didn't think about it. It's like anything like that, people want to buy over the counter stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know, and it's like anything that's homemade, people for some reason don't think it worked, but they'll use it, try it, and they're saying, you know, it's a miracle. Like 2 days later, you know, it's healed, and I go, well, why don't you tell everybody about it? And then they'll again, like it's just forgotten about. You know, it's put on on a counter or something, and it's forgotten about again. So it's like, it's just, I feel like I'm getting pounded down, like, for everything.
Yeah. So I just want to kind of recap it. So it's a series of disappointments where you do craft shows and stuff like that, and you don't get the right people, and then they're bargain hunters, and then you give it away and hope that people give you feedback, and they don't. Jenna and I know how hard it is to get feedback. We're always saying, we always send out feedback forms and get very little.
I always fill out feedbacks and stuff. So I know how important it is.
It's hard to get people to act. There's no doubt about it. And then you're just, so now you're just giving up and you don't even go out and you're just stuck at home and you're feeling like, oh my God. And then your friends aren't buying and whatever. So one thing I definitely, there's a myth. Janice put another feedback form in the, in the chat. There's a myth or like a misconception that our family and friends should buy from us. And that's just 100% not true. It's just not their job to do it. And it's our job as business owners to define and find our target market and to go where they are. And it takes a tough skin. Like Joanne, I feel your disappointment. I feel like I have been there many times where I felt the emotional, complete letdown of my business not doing what I wanted it to do. So I understand completely. And that's why Jenna and I are doing Crybabies International clothing line, because we really, no kidding, like it's hard being a sensitive person and an empath and being in business. It takes a lot to get out there and, you know, and take those, what feels like, you know, dismissals and attacks and rejection or, you know, whatever. And people, I remember, I'll tell you a story. So when I started with my knitwear line, one of my signature things was mohair sweaters, and it was really trendy then, and these fuzzy sweaters and whatever. So I did the one of a kind show. I saved up so much money for the booth. I knit night and day to have enough stock to fill the booth. And people and I thought people are going to love it and whatever. And I was so shocked at how insensitive people were. They'd come into the booth and show it to their grandma, like they'd be shopping as a family or whatever. And they'd go, can you make me one like this? And the grandma would like turn it inside out and look at how it was made. And then people would rub it and go, it's itchy. I'd get a rash if I wore that. And because of the volume of people, it felt to me like it was just one after another, criticizing, saying it's too expensive, saying they'd get hives, like just horribly the opposite experience that I thought I was going to have. And I would go into the bathroom and cry to get rid of the tension. And I was sharing the booth with someone else, and I'd come back like, okay, I'm ready to go again. And, you know, it was hard to get through it. Like it was a really tough experience to come in with such high hopes and to feel, you know, that disappointed by what happened. So the reality is, disappointment aside, like I empathize with your disappointment. I get it. I've been there. And it's nobody's job to give you feedback, to buy your stuff, to buy your stuff over anything that they could get at the drugstore or whatever, that's more convenient, that's more whatever. I mean, I can tell you why. Yeah, they didn't think of it because they haven't seen you. But if they saw you happily posting on social media about this great burn cream you invented and why it's so fantastic, and you're educating them about it, and you're doing all those things that you need to do to succeed as a business person, your outcome might be different. And quite honestly, it might not. You can do all the right things in a business and it still is a fail. I'm serious. Like, and I've been there. I've done all the right things for, you know, events or areas of my business, or one particular entire business that I did. I, you know, thought I was doing all the right things and it flopped. And it cost me like a ton of money. So it, you know, entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. And the reality is that your route to success is taking those steps to be visible, get brand awareness, educate your clients, be excited about your products, even on days where you know, and I've had that experience. I've had the experience of having to go into my store on a day where I'm like, I hate everything in the store. I hate all I'm doing, you know, like I'm just not into it today. And I still have to go and fake it till I make it and smile and be like, hello to everyone, and be like, those pants will look great on you and whatever. It takes such a thick skin to pull it off. So I don't know if that was all helpful, Joanne, but I don't think it's, you know, it's not uncommon what you're going through.
Yeah, I think doing the social media stuff, just kind of keep it down to, because I've got so many things, because everybody says, oh, can you make this? Oh yeah, of course, and I'll make it. So like, I got a house full of stuff, and you know, I'm the greatest person for Christmas time. Like I said, I give it away to everybody, but I think I really need to focus on kind of just shrinking it down to just a couple of things and really promoting it. And
I think that's a great idea. Pick your one best thing and focus on that for a while and say, here it is, the best burn cream in the world or whatever. I mean, that's kind of, it's a tricky one because it's got kind of like a medical, I don't know what, if there's like legalities around it.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about too. You know, because it's all natural stuff in it, but like it's a recipe that I came up with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know what, you know, with something like that, you know, what, you know, I don't even know who to even talk to find out if
this is the work we have to do, right? This is the work we have to do. So if you're going to develop a, you know, an all natural burn cream and it's this and that and whatever, you're going to have to figure out, you know, how you can market it so that you're doing it ethically. You're not making false claims. You're not, you know, so maybe you just want to call it a soothing cream.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to say what it can.
Yeah.
On the packaging and stuff like that, you can't say what it can do.
Yeah, you don't want to make false claims. It can cure, it heals burns faster or whatever. Who knows? You know, there's ways to scientifically test that. So yeah, it's a lot of work.
I hate to interrupt, but we're running out of time here, Laura Jean. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up today?
No, just a super big thank you for everyone who came out, and thank you for your questions and your participation. And it was just great seeing everyone.